Hi, this is Stacy of Ellis Family Farms, and yeah, it's another kind of it's really overcast day, kind of mucky out here. We haven't really had that much rain. In the last week, we've had maybe 2 inches, which doesn't sound like too much because in the springtime we usually get a lot more than that. But because the ground is still cold and it's still, I mean, it's above freezing today, but it's not soaking into the ground, so we get a lot of it that goes right down the driveway. And I can show you a little bit where we just have the driveways mainly washed out, and on down there's a pretty bad washed out spot. And then I think what's most sad to me is once it gets down there, you can see the brown dirt all washing down the road that way. But that's not what I'm here about today. I want to talk about something else. Discover that every spring I'm ready emotionally to get things in the ground, and I start planting the seeds and I start doing stuff, in starting of the seeds and stuff. And I work pretty hard in trying to get the garden spot ready, but you know how it is, the weather always gets to you. So every year I think, okay, this year I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to keep things weeded. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to have everything done. And that includes the vineyard. And every year, every springtime, it rains a lot, and I don't get out here and take care of what I need to do. So by the time the rain stops, everything's so overgrown and so out of control that I'm not on top of it again. So here it is, another springtime, or nearly springtime, and we're trying to get things ready to go. But I also want to give you a little bit of a tour of the vineyard here to let you know kind of what I've got going here too. Look at this. This is one of my beds. I told you one time that I had not harvested my garlic really good, and I really haven't harvested very good because I got quite a bit there. But here's one row. These first 5 rows, and you got to know there's 20 vines in each row, all the ones that have survived anyway. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and these are just Chamberson. And then obviously everything needs a lot of work because they've been sitting all winter, and they did a lot of sitting last summer too. And so that's Chamberson. And then we get down here, and this is Rougon. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Rougon. Now somewhere along in through here, we got all these planted, but we did not get the trellis posts set up and stuff like that. So all these posts that are railroad ties, Tom helped me do those, and we did those together. All these others, and even on the other side, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts on the other side, and we've got 3 on this side. I dug the holes for these posts and I set them, and we've got 1 trellis line put up. So now I've got all these with this. What is it? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, 7 more rows with no trellis posts, no trellis lines, and most of them don't need it. We have very little topsoil, particularly down on this end of the vineyard, and so they're really struggling down here. And then we get the occasional ones like this that are actually trying to do something, and they don't have a trellis line to be supported. So yeah, this whole vineyard's been really neglected. Tom really wanted a vineyard back in '08. We planted it, and then after he got sick with depression, he just basically dumped it in my lap. And obviously this is too much. This is more than what I can handle. But what do? Walk away from it. You do what you can and go on with your day. So that's what I'm... And most of these down here, we did have a couple of rows of GR7s or something. I don't know what they were. Another red grape. They were under patent. I don't know what the patent was for, but they suck. They didn't grow. I don't know. So as they die, we've been replacing them with Chamberson, and that's what most of these rows down here on the lower end are of Chamberson. And because we can't keep things mowed very much, there's always a vole to be dug up around here. Oh yeah, and part of the reason I had to start digging these by myself was Tom got the auger and he started digging holes, but then he wasn't filling them in. And I think this is the last hole that's not filled in, because I tell you what, when you're mowing and you accidentally step on one of these holes, I told him, I said, if I break a leg, I'm gonna haunt him. But so I definitely have got to get 1 more post in here anyway, so that I won't break a leg, and then I can get some more dug and put in. But we'll get them done. Several weeks ago, I got this first row pruned, and I've got all of these weeded, and I got them mulched, and apparently I quit mulching here and doing compost and stuff too. I got way down here with the weeding. That's what I'm going to try to get done today, because and I'm going to get muddy and wet. That's the way it goes. I guess I'm one of those that they call playing homestead, because for a long time I didn't want to get out and get muddy and wet and stuff, but it's time to suck it up and be somebody. Looking over my asparagus beds and strawberries. Yep, everything needs work. I guess that's my job, huh? Got my trusty feed bag that I'm kneeling on. Apparently not doing a very good job of it. This is my trusty hammer that works really good for digging up weeds. I was looking at this one and it's not as obvious because I've been working on it, but there's a pretty good hole here. And apparently there was a vole that used to live here and my dogs had dug it, so I'm going to fill this in pretty good with compost and then before I put the mulch on it. Looks like something chewed off the head of my emitter for my irrigation system. That's okay. This is not even hooked up. I'm still trying to get it installed, but before I can do it, I guess I'm going to have to fix that. I didn't mention this earlier because I didn't think it was necessary, but I guess so. You know, that black hen that I found yesterday that had been killed and had all the eggs underneath it earlier, that was my white dog that was munching on it. And then I come out this morning and I find another hen totally dismembered and lying in the front yard. And now I see another hen is out. I know there's not electric fence, and they're really getting tired of wood chips and mud and want some grass, but I really wish they would stay in their pens so that I can keep them safe, because I really can't keep, well, that's not true either, because something was getting into the coops at night and killing them. Probably a raccoon, we think, but I'm losing more hens than I can really afford to lose. Alright, I got her back into the pen safely. And what I'm doing over here is this is for the other chickens. This is kind of our staging area for whether the chicks haven't been incorporated. And the last batch was that set of hens that we bought a couple months ago, and they stayed in here. So this gets really filled up with poop and stuff, and this is what I like to use for fertilizer for most everything around here. Okay, that's not full, but it ain't that tough. And this is a wet, heavy stuff, so I'm going to take it on down. Well, I've got at least some more chicken dirt, compost, whatever you want to call it, put down. And I don't have time to finish out the row because the next round of rain is almost here, and I haven't checked eggs. It's a little bit early in the day, but if I don't check eggs and get that done, that might not get done until tomorrow too. But little by little, I guess they say, we'll get it done. We'll get what we can done anyway.